How's it going, everybody? Doing a collection video here today. This is going to be my Final Fantasy game collection. It's not huge. Most of them, at least half of them, are sealed still. That doesn't mean I haven't played any of them, but I do. Final Fantasy is weird to me because I enjoy them. I haven't completed a lot of Final Fantasy games, but I've played a bunch. And I do enjoy what I play from the Final Fantasies. And there's been a ton. I'd actually like to get more. My personal favorites are the earlier ones. And 10. I really like 10. And obviously 10 too. I love. But like Final Fantasy 6 and 4, which was 2 and 3 here originally, and then they re-released them. Or they released them under their actual numbered title. 3 is my favorite. 3-6 is my favorite. And then 4-2, whatever you want to call it, is awesome too. The original on the NES, that was my first experience with Final Fantasy. The first one. A lot of solid titles over the other thing is you gotta commit a lot to the Final Fantasy game like any other RPG, be it turn-based or not. You gotta put a lot of time in, and especially at points maybe in my life when I was playing some of them, I was like, well, I started playing something else, and then I'm like, I want to trade this in or sell it or whatever. But anyway, let's just get into the games. First one here is a World of Final Fantasy for the Vita. I also have this on the Xbox One. I'll show it. I picked this one up because it was like $20 new. I played a little of it. It's you actually like capture enemies and then you could use them to fight and you can like stack them. And it's got that look. I don't know what that's called. I mean, from what I played, it was alright. I didn't play a ton, though, admittedly. But it has characters from, like, all the games in here. It's almost like a Final Fantasy All-Stars. This is Day 1 edition, which did have some DLC stuff that actually expires in 2026. I just saw it on the back. I like how they have, like, DLC you can get when you get your game in it, but it will, expire at some point. It's like, dude, fuck you. I bought it, should be mine forever. Next one is Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation. Great tapping sound on a PlayStation case. This is one of numerous copies I've had of this game. This came from a garage sale. This was, I think, literally $1. It might have been $2. Now, it's weird because this is pretty much the greatest hits version, although the front of the case is not, and the top part is, and the bottom part is, and the 3 discs are all, I'm pretty sure the original, like the black label ones were like a white disc, and this is kind of the clear-ish discs, if you want to call it that. This is all 3. I've obviously been playing the remake of this one, and love it. I've never played a ton of this version, the original version. I've never played a ton. Mainly the stuff I've played is when you're in the beginning, when you're trying to blow up that reactor or whatever you're doing. But I actually kind of want to play this one and just kind of get into it at some point. But it's Final Fantasy VII. This is a lot of people's favorite one. The first 3D one as well. This is Final Fantasy Chronicles, but it has Final Fantasy IV on it, which is 2, and Chrono Trigger, which is not made by the same people, but not Where is it? I think the Final Fantasy is actually in... Final Fantasy IV is in the PlayStation 2. I enjoyed that one. I had it on the Super Nintendo. I'd love to get that version, that copy, but it's a little pricey. This added like 3D cutscenes and stuff. The graphics might be a little better. I can't remember. But I love 4. 4 is the one where I think you end up in the whale. You end up on the moon. You end up like riding in a whale. What is it? Is it the gull wings? Or no, wait, that's from 10 maybe. The red wings are they called? They might tell you. They had a lot of these though. Final Fantasy Anthology, which I had at a point, but I don't. It has 6 and 5 in it. Now, this is the one with Cecil and Kane. That's the main ones. Wait a sec. Yes, that is 4. Right? Yeah. Like I said, it's a cool game. I prefer 3 to it, or 6, whatever the hell we're calling it. Actually, there's an advertisement for Final Fantasy X. 3 is like the 6, whatever. It's like the steampunk Final Fantasy. Less of the PlayStation ones I have. Final Fantasy Origins, so this is the first and second game. Better graphics. There's also some cutscenes as well. New theme songs apparently as well. Expanded event scenes and new story scenes. Detailed bestiaries of enemies of each game. But I played a ton of the original one. I've never played 2. 2 did not come out here originally back in the day. 2 and 3 didn't. 4 would have, and 6. Out of the first 6, only 3 came out here back then, and then obviously they started to, in the PlayStation era, they released them, the other ones. And the Game Boy Advance had them too. But this has the first 2. This is on 1 disc. I mean, the first one's so classic. That's great artwork there. I don't know that's who that's supposed to be. Definitely cool. It's that treasure trove of Final Fantasies that got released on the PlayStation. You got the first 2, you have 4, you end up with 6, you have 5. I don't know if 3 ever came to it. And then you got 7, 8, and 9 as well, so you definitely had your Final Fantasy fix. Now I got some PS4 ones here. Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, so this is like a prequel to the first game, I'm pretty sure. Spoiler alerts, and I spoiled myself on this before I got it. The guy you play as, Jack, I think becomes Garland, the main bad guy from the first one. This is it's not like a turn-based strategy game. It's like a hack and slash. Was this made by? Yes, Team Ninja helped make this as well. I played some of it. It was pretty cool, but I just, like everything else, I just moved on to something else. But this is what that's supposed to be, because I think your character kidnaps the princess or whatever at the end of this game or some shit, and that moves into the first Final Fantasy. So chronologically, this is the first one. Final Fantasy VII Remake. This has 2 discs. It is. Oh, it's an install disc, and I played it. this. I said this is my first like true experience with Final Fantasy VII, and it's awesome. Like I know they changed a lot of stuff. The combat system is different now from the original one. It's more of like the Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy 15 combat. Looks great. It's just a cool game. The characters are all pretty cool. Use a Cloud with his fucking giant sword that he really shouldn't be able to lift. Although he's like a soldier. I think he's a super soldier. And there's mini games and stuff. It's a lot of cool stuff to do. I can't wait. Like I'm going to end up getting a PlayStation 5 for the second part of this. So I'm at the kind of towards the end of this, I think. I think there's like, I forget the chapter amount, but I'm far in the game. I'm in the Shinra buildings. I got to get a key card and stuff. So I don't think I have that much left. But I know the second one, the second part of this is going to be the one that brings you into the massive open world, which is always a great. The Final Fantasy was like that. The first Final Fantasy was like my first experience with like a big open world. Like, I'm going up here. I'm going over here. Oh my god, we end up over here. And but this is awesome. I pick it up if you have not played it yet. I assume if you're a Final Fantasy fan. If you're a Final Fantasy VII fan, I would assume you probably have played this, at least some of it. Alright, let's, you know what? I'll go to the PlayStation 1 that I have. PlayStation 2. Final Fantasy 12. This is when I got it at a garage sale for $5. Now, normally I wouldn't pay $5 for this because it's not an overly expensive game to find, you know, if you're buying it used. But I was like, I want to play this. And it's an immaculate copy. I ended up playing a good amount of this, but I'd stopped. I can't say a good amount, maybe like 9 to 10 hours, but these are the people in your party. You start off, this is like the main guy you're using. I forget his name. Does it say his name here? No. It's very funny. It's like the battle system was you're running around. You can't, you know, it's like you still have to put in the commands you want, but you're like constantly moving. Once again, a cool game world. It's kind of crazy when you look at the Final Fantasies because if you play certain ones or ones you grew up with or something, the first ones you played are always how you think it is, but the Final Fantasies in terms of, I'm not saying like gameplay itself, except, you know, this one is different than the turn-based. But you always have a feel of what you think Final Fantasy should look like and stuff, but there's like a lot of different kind of worlds in Final Fantasy games. I'm pretty sure this game reviewed really well. I'll just do this one that I had gotten recently in that pickups video I had done with Mario Wonder and Tales of Arise, but it's Final Fantasy 13 too. This is another one I played some of. I'd gotten it from Gamefly. I rented it. PS3, I believe. And it was kind of cool. It was a little more like, there's a lot going on, I feel like you say, because I think you can swap from, like, I think you're in parties of a few people, and you could swap to other groups and other areas. I can't really remember. But 13 I played a ton of and liked it. I thought it was awesome. I don't think you use lightning in this one. I could be wrong, though. Doesn't she end up like a god or something? I forget what happens. Like, she sacrifices herself, but she becomes like a god. I forget, but this one I got from Amazon. It was new for, ended up being like $15.11 with tax. And it's backwards compatible, so I do want to get Final Fantasy 13 as well. And the rest are all, well, they didn't originally come out, most of them, on the Xbox One. This one did, though. Final Fantasy 15. This is one of the ones I've actually completed. Same thing, it's that running around. I did a review on this on my channel, I'm pretty sure. And like I said, once again, these games can have such different feels from them, like other ones, unless they're like direct sequels, like 10, 10, 2, or 13, 13, 2, stuff like that. But I always do this in these videos of their names: Gladio, Noctis, Ignis, and Prompto. They're friends. You use Noctis the Prince. The other buddies, you're all your friends. The other three people. Cool open world. You drive a car around the places. You can find classic Final Fantasy tunes, CDs, and you can play them in your car. Looks really nice. I know people did not like this one. I thought it was cool. I don't know. I remember playing it. And I can't remember a lot of it now, but I do remember enjoying the shit out of it when I played it. I do remember after the game I fought like a giant turtle that came out of a mountain or something. A pretty decent sized world. It's not massive. But like I said, I really like this game. And so here's Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. This is the remastered and high definition, featuring all new and enhanced gameplay features. So I have a new Zodiac job system with improved battle mechanics, fully remastered visuals and music, including true 7.1 surround sound. I was this close. I got this one and the next one I got when I was in Florida because they were $10. It was $10. I was like, I'll get it. So maybe one day I play this one instead of going back to the PS2 one, but I feel like I'm like 10, 11 hours into the PS2 one. I should probably just play that. But like I said, if it's $10, I'm getting it. And there's another duplicate. World of Final Fantasy. This is Maxima. So World of Final Fantasy, I think, was just a Vita game. It might have also been on the 3DS. And of course, like everything else, they have to pump it out and everything. Oh, this is the same thing. Unfortunately, that artwork was pushed down. You see that? It's not all the way. It's not even. Like I said, this was $10, so I grabbed this at Walmart. I would assume this added whatever kind of DLCs or whatever they added to the other version came out with this. And they're different. There's obviously Final Fantasy strategy games, like the tactics games. They have stuff like that, like World of Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. That I played on the GameCube. I actually want to get that, and it's not that expensive on the Cube. I was looking it up. Here's kind of another kind of different one, I believe. This one was like $6 new or something. I got it, but it's Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. This was originally a PSP game, I believe. But also kind of different. I think you're in a school in this one. This has an playable demo of 15, so I should check that and see if I like it. But yeah. If anyone's played this one, let me know. Actually, know how it is, because I've considered opening this a few times, but I haven't. And the last one here, Final Fantasy X 10-2 remastered. I do have Final Fantasy X-2 on the PS2 as well, but it's in a bin, and I didn't feel like digging it out. This one's sealed. I was playing a ton of 10 on Game Pass when it was on there. I don't know if it's on Game Pass anymore. I also had it on the Vita at a point. But Final Fantasy X is awesome. Like, it's one of those games where when you think PS2, one of the first games that pop into your head is Final Fantasy X. Like, that's what you associate with the system like that. GTA 3, Metal Gear Solid, Sons of Liberty, stuff like that. Like Devil May Cry. There's certain games with systems that you associate with them. And Final Fantasy X is one of those. And the original version of Final Fantasy X still holds up graphically as well. I don't know if they added stuff to this. I know the graphics are enhanced and the music is remastered on 10, but not 10-2. 10's obviously Titus or Titus, whatever he's supposed to be called. Spoiler alert, he's really dead. Sin comes, it ruins everybody's good time in the beginning. And Sin is his dad. Eject. And good characters in 10. 10-2 loses. You only in 10, you have like, was it Kamari, Riku, Yuna, Lulu, Auron, Titus, Waka. Oh, there's somebody else. I might be missing somebody. I might not be, though. You could swap out. Yeah, it was only 3 when you're fighting. But Final Fantasy X-2, it's just, you just use Yuna, Riku, and then they introduce Pain. And 10-2 is a little more, it's a little less, I should say, serious than 10. Yuna's like a pop star. There's like an opening act where someone's pretending to be her at a concert. It has the job system as well in 10-2, where you can swap out kind of outfits, I should say, whatever they're calling it, outfit system, whatever. And then you have those abilities. You can upgrade the abilities. It's got the spear grid in both of them. And 10-2 is almost a little more where you're going back and forth on the airship. You can kind of go to different areas. Oh, we got a clue as to something, and you go. So a little open. 10 is more streamlined, but cool game world, cool monsters. Like I said, and I didn't play a ton of 10 because I had the PS2 different times. I played maybe, I forget how much I played. I got up to this part originally back then when I played it, and I kept getting my ass kicked. And then when I played it again, I dominated the thing. I forget what it was. Like a giant robot. After you get to the comm plane, or the far plane, not the far plane, that's the kind of heaven or whatever it is, comm lands or something. Classic game though. 10-2 is great too, but there's a lot of love it or hate it with 10-2. But yeah, that is my Final Fantasy collection. I do want to pick up more. There's so many. There's got to be another, 65, 70 Final Fantasy games. You know, they had the Revenant Wings one for the DS, which was Final Fantasy 12 related stuff. Dirge of Cerberus, which is another Final Fantasy 7 one that was on PS2. That's actually more of just you use the one dude. There's the tactics games. It's Theat Rhythm. I had that on the 3DS. Great rhythm game of Final Fantasy music. I actually want to get it on the PS4. I've played a bunch of 9. I've never played 8. No, 9. I've never played 8 at all. I've never played any of 8. 9 was cool. That was another one I got a G sale for like $2 and played. I ended up selling it, but I played a bunch of it. I was actually having a lot of fun with it. And there's a bunch of shit on the GBA too. And there's like Final Fantasy Legend games on the original Game Boy and whatever that goes on and on. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for checking us out and have a good day.